Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Horrific Reviews. Well, folks, it appears I'm going down a rabbit hole, and I don't know if I want to. But funny story. So, obviously, those of you who were with us yesterday, we were discussing Killer Sofa, one of the most cheesiest, campiest movies on the planet. So, of course, we are on a myriad of platforms, as you well know. As you well know, I can nearly speak again. My brain's getting honestly just turned to mush with these movies, but hey, that's part of the fun, I suppose. Yeah, so we're on a myriad of platforms, one including the Slasher app. If you're not familiar with it, it's a custom-built app for horror fans. I'm hoping to get the creator on here some stage. Once he sends me an email and confirms details, we'll get that happening. He can talk to us more about it and how it came about. But for the most part, it doesn't have the censorship of like the mainstream platforms, so we can actually talk about horror and not get certain words censored out by the bots. It's a good platform. Like all social media, you'll get some idiots because they're everywhere. You get the grandstanders, you get the look at me types, but generally, a lot of good people who enjoy horror. All sorts. Most people just want to share movies they've watched or things they're excited for, especially this time of year. All the Halloween posts, fantastic. So on that, obviously posted last night's episode, and as Azel transcended, decided, hold my beer, I have one for you. So I don't know what it did be offending to do this to me, but there you go. He's talking about basically the conversation's like, okay, what about haunted beds that eat people? I'm like, all right, what one's that? And he pointed me to this movie. I did find another one which is done in the 2000s, and I actually think it's worse and cheesier. And I started watching it, but then I realized that because when you try to search on the TV is ridiculous, so bloody hard. So what I tend to do is I search on the computer, save my link to my platform, and then put it on the TV because it's easier. Because trying to use the remote and search properly, and especially Amazon, they have this thing where you have to watch something. Okay, but don't have exactly right now what you're looking for, but here, watch this. And that tends to be how it goes. If you put it in the general search and they can't find it straight away, it'll point you towards something. So I started watching our movie. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I didn't finish it because then I realized stop, but it's a good 10 minutes in. That looks, oh God, it's almost as bad as this one. But this one's special, right? This is 70s goodness off a scale. A lot of LSD must have been dropped, like making, acting. Everyone's just off their head. They're stoned. That's the only way to describe the way they're going around in this movie. It's also the 70s style. So what we have here is sort of the break. You know, this is the sort of formation of like mainstream movies away from silent movies. It took a long time to get that. Anyone that knows about creation, sound is the hardest thing. Visuals can be forgiven, but if you get the sound wrong, that's it. People just can't get with it. Problem back then is that they run them simultaneously, so it wasn't like the sound from the actors came through. That technology wasn't quite there. Tried a bit, so basically you have the action scenes and then it's overdubbed, and that's why a lot of movies were made. And it's, you know what I mean, like anything, technology takes time to perfect, and then you need bad movies to come out. You need people still to go and see them. Then the money from that goes into developing a new technology because obviously they want to be the next thing, and that's how we progress, which is mad because right now that's not what's happening. What's happening is everything's coming to a standstill and it's shit and feels crap. So you can understand this being the way it is because of the limitations of the time. But God, there's definitely drugs involved. So the concept of the story is, we'll get the backstory later on, but essentially what you have is a demon falls in love with a woman. He was living in a tree. He meets this woman. He falls in love with her, so he creates a bed for him to get jiggy on. He turns himself into human form. But demons and humans can't get it on because it's dangerous to the humans. So while he's getting jiggy with her, he kills her. And in his sorrow, he gouges out his own eyes and drops of blood landing in the bed, which turns the bed into a sentient being full of hunger. The demon goes to sleep, apparently, wakes up every 10 years. Or it's meant to be the other way. They told it twice, right? In one sense, they told it, right? The demon sleeps and wakes up every 10 years. And then the other scene, they're saying, no, the demon can't sleep, and it's only once every 10 years it gets to sleep. So like I'm saying, a lot of drugs taken, the guys have made this. Just mental. Just absolutely mental. But it was it fun? I think it was. It's just good to see that sort of cheesy 70s vibe. We'll start off the young couple, and this is the weirdest thing ever. So they're on a date, and it seems like they've been going out for a while, but this guy takes her on a hike, basically, because she keeps going on about how she's been walking for a while, and you have to understand, they're all doing this deadpan voice. I mean, proper deadpan. I worry sometimes that I don't come across as excited enough, because there's a lot of hyperactive people on YouTube and social media and creating content, and they're all like super excited about everything, and I'm not like that. But when you see this, and this is serious acting, I'm all right. I don't feel so bad. But yeah, so this guy is taking her to this house that's abandoned so he can get jiggy with her on a bed that's been there for how long. I have a thing about, like just a picture, an old musty bed there in an outhouse. It's a cellar, so it's not even like a well ventilated room, and the building's been abandoned. That's going to be hiding with stuff. Reality, but they don't. They go into they go into a studio stage set with beautifully lit room and everything, and the bed is pristine. Now, you could say it's because of the demonic influence, but if you're seeing everything else dilapidated and crumbling, and you come in, you see this pristine bed, looks as if it's just been freshly made that morning, you'd get a wee bit suspicious. But hey ho, it's a horror movie. You're not meant to get suspicious. You're meant to just, you're the cannon fodder, straight in, get done. So these two start getting the jiggy, but this is where you just know how this movie's going to go. She's hungry because they've been walking a long time. So they start making out. She doesn't want to. Then she does. Then she doesn't. And it's all done in this monotone, voice, which is just nuts. Then they go to eat, but then the bed, and the way the bed does it is just mental. You can just picture a bunch of hippies, but those bubble blower things. So essentially what they've got is like washed up liquid, a thing, and they're blowing it up through the center of the bed. Now, the mechanics of this, considering the fact it's a mattress, etc., is brilliant. How the hell they do this is just mad, because they keep bubbling this stuff up. Now, by the second scene, this bed should be in realistic terms, this bed should be sodden, soaked, dripping, because they're just bubbling up. The bed's scented, so it's like it swipes their bucket of chicken, it swipes one of their apples. Now, how it eats, it uses the thing from sand. It's dropping stuff into sulfuric acid. You see one of them shots of like the apple getting dropped into sulfuric acid, so it's digesting by liquid. But they're playing the sound of it going harsh, 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 munching and eating while something's getting dissolved in liquid. Sorry, I need tea for this. Hi. How is somebody, because if you're doing Foley stuff, you're reading the script or you're watching it, so if you're watching something and people acting it out, you're making this noise to go along with it, sound effects. That's how Foley works. Really fascinating art form, and as an art form, that's a whole genre in its own. That's what got me interested in podcasting in the first place, because the old radio shows were basically do the sound effects as the things being broadcast live, performing like Graveyard Mansion, Lone Ranger, all those type of ones. They're doing that stuff live, and that's more convincing than this. And these are people having time, post production to do it. They're not doing it live, but you get the impression they're just, yeah, man. But you get these scenes, and it eats all the other stuff. See at the end of the last, and then we get boobies in this, so we get some gratuitous nudity, which is always fun. So it's worth a flat. 70s nudity is a lot of fun. I miss the 70s, man. Even though I was only like bouncing on my mum's knee for the latter half of it, I still was there. It counts, okay? I'm a 70s child. I was there for enough for it to count. But anyway, another tangent. Then it's the couple. So we get that, and it's just so hammy and cheesy and mental. It's great. But that's not the mental thing about this movie. What we have is a ghost. So we've got a narrator throughout the movie. One of the bed's victims was spared, and instead he was trapped in a painting. So you have this bloke sitting in a glass box with like a window to represent him being trapped inside an oil painting. It's the most weird. It's not even a portrait. Even back then, you could have went to an antique store or a bric-a-brac sale, a flea market, and picked up some random generic painting quite cheaply, I'm sure. Somebody's painted this thing. Like, it's, like I said, this isn't the LSD party that just happened to have made a movie in the process. But this guy's sitting inside a box, and he's narrating and going, silly demon, you've eaten everybody. That's why you're starving. You eat everybody that comes in. You don't save anybody. And he's just narrating throughout this in a really deeply monotone voice, as if everything's all matter of fact. Yeah, this movie's bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. And this carries on. It's split into acts, right? So it's split as if it's mealtime. So that first act was called Breakfast. The couple that come in. Then lunch is basically three girls turn up to this house, and they're going to stay there overnight, and it's getting ramsey. Oh yeah, the demon breaks the house up more in a temper tantrum. This needs to be remade. I'm thinking, why we're like, don't remake stuff. This movie needs to be remade, honestly. This could be a mental comedy movie if it's remade with modern technology. This one's begging for a remake. And I won't take away from the original, because you couldn't do that again. That's just this is the product of its time, never to be repeated. But yeah, the lunch, then three women turn up, and God, what happens there? You've two in the front who are obviously gaying into each other, because that's kind of there's a major sexual undertone. Like this movie's awkward boner central, seriously, and it's not even nudie bits. It's the underlying tension, right? There's a whole underlying sexual tension throughout this movie, which is brilliantly done, and part of the whole makeup. It's 70s fun and madness, but yeah. So he's two in the front, and the girl in the back's basically explaining that she invited herself along. They don't want her there, and they keep looking at each other funny. the writings on the wall, so to speak, just spelled out. Hilarious. But they don't speak to each other. This is all done in thoughts because back to what I'm saying, the technology, they don't quite have it. There's only like two scenes where you see somebody speaking, and it's a brother who we'll get introduced in a minute, but there's only two scenes where people speaking and it looks really choppy. So they avoid speaking as much as possible. So this is the fact that the silent movie. It's played like a silent movie with the dialogue over the top. So the way they got around it is it's all mind speak. So everyone's speaking in their heads and barely speaking to each other. And when they're speaking to each other, you don't see them in shot. Oh man. Azazel, what have you done to me? I don't know if I can go through a week of that. My brain's gonna break. Seriously, guys, my brain's it's gonna start running out of me ears soon watching all these movies. They're mad. But you do what you must. Anyway, so these three turn up. One of the girls lies in the bed, and Demon doesn't need her, and the portrait brings that up. You didn't need her, why? And they try to say it's because of her cross, but no, it's because she reminds him of, and that's where we get the backstory about the demon and living in a tree and blowing in the wind, and then sees a girl and transforms into a bed and himself and blah blah blah. And the girl that lay in the bed first reminds him of her. And then the guy explains, "Oh, right, but you know now it's not her. So when she comes back, you're going to eat her." And it's just explained. It's just all the way through. This movie is mental. So Tina goes away. The two girls go out to collect firewood, and one of the girls is an absolute cow because she has the other one. The other one's carrying the firewood, and she's picking flowers and puts flowers on top of the firewood and stuff. And like, oh, what a bitch! Like you think that both of them are out collecting firewood, they both do it, but there you go. Yeah. So the third girl then comes back after what the hell was she out doing? She went out and did stuff. Doesn't matter. There's no plot here. Don't worry about it. The narrator explains what's going to happen anyway, so don't worry about plot. But she goes out and does stuff, comes back, and then the bed pulls her necklace round. She's wearing like a cross, so she pulls the necklace down into the bed, and basically to represent under the bed's like liquid. So we see the chain going like this as effective. Basically, what I was trying to say is that the bed is decided to saw her head off using her own necklace. You don't see it because obviously it's 70s, but you see blood in random places. It's so funny. Like you people on the bed and then the blood stripping between their toes, and their toes are nowhere near the rest of it, and blood splattering everywhere. But yet the bed, everything's super clean, and there's liquid everywhere, but everything's dry immediately afterwards. Like the way they did this is mental. But yeah, she gets eaten, and then it eats her suitcase. And it strips her first. Yeah, it strips her first because I had to have something new today because that's always fun. Yeah, but it eats her clothes too. So why the strip her before eating her clothes? Man. Yeah. So that happens. She gets eaten, and then we'll get more shots with the painting, talking to the demon, slagging off and saying this and that, and you need to go to the city. And then apparently it was in the city once, and there was like thousands of people going missing. Because who buys secondhand beds? I know even in the 70s, but who buys secondhand beds after time and doesn't change a mattress? Anyone? If you do that, have a word with yourself. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you buy the bed frame, but yeah, you're buying a new mattress. But there you go. Anyway, that's the thing. Then we go on to dinner. You know what I mean? It breaks these on the X, and it's all super serious about the X. This is this serious story being told. Yeah, and dinner's basically the two women that are left wondering where she went. Ah, God, right. Oh, this is another one. God, my brain's going to be broken. But yeah, so they're around looking, shouting, all that kind of stuff. And then Diane, one of the girls tells the other one, right, you go into town, you drive into town, and I'll wait for her. Her idea of waiting for her is basically getting trolleyed. She's sitting on the edge of the bed and starts opening a bottle of, it looked like cognac or something. I think it might have been wine, but it looked like a bottle of cognac. It's a bit of a fancy bottle for just bog standard wine. But anyway, she goes in that, she smokes, and then I thought she was going to burn the bed because she has a cigarette and then she falls over. And it's funny because the painting is like, oh, I haven't smoked in 70 years. Oh man. And basically what's happened as well is the bed is eating these people, but anything the people own, the bed's depositing in the painting. So this guy's wearing the jewelry of all the previous victims, and somebody had a leg brace, so he ends up with a leg brace, and then he gets excited about this one because she's smoking, and then after she gets killed, he's smoking a cigarette because then it transports and then this is trippy as hell. Honestly, this is just, it's out there. It's 70s good. I'm going to say it a lot, but it's 70s, man. What a time. Yeah, and that comes the thing. The other girl drives down, her car breaks down, and not only does she just leave the car in the middle of the road and doesn't put it off to the side, but she opens up the bonnet to look at the engine, and then she walks away from the car, leaving the bonnet open, and doesn't lock it or anything, just, yeah, whatever. Walks back to the house. Then we have the scene with the brother. So the first one who got killed, her mother tells her brother, now this is all in the space of a day, so these two are going, this is what, this is what I can't get my head around. These two are going on the planned trip. She's come along, and they're adults, and the mother's acting as if she's run away from home, and it's only been like a day. And obviously, I'm gonna, well, we're going overnight with these two, or going for a day or two. She's packed a suitcase, so away for a few days. Don't see the thing, but obviously we'll have to get the brother introduced into the plot, because yeah. Right, so he drives, he comes up, he sees the car, he gets directions, he's ringing people. I love this, ringing people and just going, yes, I am her brother, honest, tell me where they are, and then people on the other end just give out the details. That used to be a thing. That actually used to be a thing right up until like late 80s. People would do that. That's why Data Protection Act and all came into place, because you could ring up or somebody's reception and go, I'm looking for Joe Bloggs, I'm his cousin, I haven't seen him in a while, blah, blah. And the reception will just go, yeah, no bother. Here's his personal details. And that would happen. More trusting age. There wasn't the high rate of fraud and all that kind of stuff going on. Now, you even dare ask for somebody's information, you get interrogated. The police will go around your door before you even realise. But just kind of shows the times, so he's able to actually ring and get where they are. He goes to the house. The other girls, oh shit, I missed that part. So the girl that was waiting, the bed tries to kill her, but she manages to crawl out. The bed lets her get right out the door, and did a good job of like having the skin peeled from her and stuff. So it actually done a decent job of the effects. She did manage to get out before it digested her, so to speak. But then we see the one of the funniest scenes is actually the bed, the blanket just going whoosh, the sheet and tying around her and then dragging her back. But it was almost like it was playing with her, because it let her get right out the door instead of just pulling her back immediately. The painting tells us that the demon bed has a sadistic streak. There you go. Yeah. So the brother then arrives. So the girls try to save her. She's distraught. In fact, she's not distraught. She's kind of nonchalant. She's just like, That's what I'm talking about, these people being, just deadpan. She's just like sitting around going, Oh, and they set logs in the fire. The other girl set logs in the fire, lights it with one match, and all comes up beautifully as well. That was funny. Not a gas fire at all. The brother arrives, and the girl won't speak. but they somehow manage to communicate with the bed that he pulls out because they're having a picnic and they've got a huge freaking carving knife, the open stuff and all, and they're messing about. I was waiting for one of them to poke an eye out. Like not even like a small picnic, like freaking huge carving knife. So he pulls that out of the bag. He goes to stab the bed. I'm gonna see this actually. You see that bit in the trailer. He goes to stab the bed. The bubbles come up, and the bed eats his hands, and then he pulls out skeleton hands. She's just like, and he's kind of like, it ate my hands. Like, I don't know, you're me, I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, oh! But these people are just like, interesting, I have no flesh left in my hands. And the bones start falling off, and he's like, oh, my hands are falling off. Definitely a story. But this is the bit. It then goes into the last final act, just desserts. This is where the portrait tells us that once every 10 years, the demon can only, this is the only time the main demon, and he's like Boris Karloff eyes, you see the guy just opening the eyes, that's obviously the demon, just the eyes opening, their blood red, closing them. So he obviously got his eyes back for this thing, even though he gouged them out like earlier, centuries ago. They grow back. But there you go. So he goes to sleep, and that supposedly wakens his hold on the demon in bed, so the portrait can speak to the girl. And then he calls over, and she's just like, okay, whatever, touch my hand, blah, blah, blah. Here's what you need to do a ritual. Does a circle outside, circle inside. And the guy's just so, sorry I tracked you, you're a sacrifice. Because the only way for this to happen is for you to be killed, for the first girl that the demon shagged to death to get resurrected. Yep. And then the bed moves outside, and then the girl comes up who's been sitting in the grave. The scenes to do, and the sideways looking of a coffin on their grave, and the skull, because the skull goes in the ground and flowers grow out of it, and it's just trippy as hell. I actually recommend this movie. I'll say that. It's more fun than you'd think just to look at it. But yeah, she then gets killed. The girl comes back. The demon wakes up, goes and shags her, and the bread burns, and that's the end. On the brother. I think a brother. No, I don't know. It got weird and trippy, and the bed went on fire, and that was it. And then it cuts the credits. And there you go. That's the movie. It's mental. This movie was proper mental. That's what I can say about it. Yeah, check it out. Few mates, drinks, whatever else is legal where you are. If you think that'll enhance your experience, your choice, whatever you do. I'm not one to judge. I don't care. These are grown adults. But yeah, this is one of those ones that it's more of an experience than a movie for a plot. It's something you just watch to go, what the hell is this? And it's all the stuff in between, the actual bed and the dialogue with the portrait and the narrated overtone and all that, and the imagery. It's just a whole convoluted mess of stuff thrown in together. And yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. Just the more I think about it, it's actually a fun movie. So there you go. That's my review. And that went on a wee bit longer, but yeah, I just had to wrap my own head around the madness. So once again, Azazel, thank you for this, you fucker, for putting me through this. But yeah, anyone else, wherever you happen to see these videos, if you have a suggestion, yeah, stick it down and I'll get there, because that's actually more fun, going down random rabbit holes rather than me systematically searching for movies, which I'll do anyway. But yeah, send me down a rabbit hole. Let's see who can break me. Let's see which one of you is going to finally push me over the edge with the most bonkers movie. Do you want me to cover any more possessed furniture? Yeah, if you any more possessed furniture movies, I'll relook at that other one and maybe do it tomorrow or Saturday, just for a laugh. What I will not do is that bloody Amityville one with the haunted lamp, because that was shit. I'm never watching that again. So I'm not doing that movie. So don't talk about possessed lamps in Amityville, because that was a load of crap. But yeah, give us a suggestion. Let's have a bit of fun. Keep up to date. I usually go about this time in the evenings when I have a chance. So sorry, apologies for that. So if you can get on the chat, we can have a laugh, talk about a bonkers movie. Check out the show. Loads happening. Get involved. The links are all there, and let's have a bit of a laugh and fun, and have a good October with some madness. And there you go, folks. So till next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.